Woo! Just stuff. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Here we go. Ooh. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore, no. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. Ooh, what this life is about. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Well, the mystery has been solved. This is where they keep all the beautiful people, obviously. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Northern Colorado. My name is Connie Carlson, and my pronouns are they and them. We're so glad that you have decided to join us this evening. We welcome all lifestyles and beliefs. No matter who you are, you're welcome here. I want to acknowledge that this service is being held on the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Ute, and Cheyenne peoples. We recognize that this land is rightfully theirs, and we offer our respect and gratitude for their continuing kinship with this place. Our philosophy, Science of Mind, honors the wisdom and teachings found in all faiths, recognizing that each path leads to the same universal truth of oneness, love, and interconnection. We're all just beads on the same string. Lonnie Hickman will be your prayer partner today and will be available after the service for one-on-one prayer. So, let's say our mission and vision together. Ready? Our mission. We are an inclusive community inspiring personal growth, spiritual practice, and a positive way of life. And our vision, to support humanity's spiritual growth, creating a world that works for all. And now, let's invite our kids up to the stage to join us this evening.
God is everything there is, so I am part of God. I know there's lots of good for me and everybody else. I'm thankful and grateful for everything we have. So I let go of this prayer, and so it is. Here we go. God is everything there is, so I am part of God. I know there's lots of good for me and everybody else. I'm thankful and grateful for everything we have. So I let go of this prayer, and so it is.
Awesome. So now let's go through just a few announcements. Wednesday Recharge. Join Rev Lea for an evening of peace and renewal. She'll be guiding you through various meditations and visualizations to bring peace to your mind. And that is on Wednesday, June 25th at 6:30 in the classroom across the way. The Women's Circle. Join us for the Sacred Circle for the Feminine Spirit on June 28th for an intimate and welcoming space for women to gather, connect, and chant, drum, move together, celebrate, do all the fun things. All who embody and honor the feminine are welcome. We also have Game Day. Join us for an afternoon of fun and games on July 10th. Bring your favorite board game or play one that we have provided there. Bring a snack and a beverage and to share, and let's just play and have fun and connect. And then there's a concert. All right, join us July 16th at 5:30 p.m. for the Lagoon concert at CSU. We'll meet at the bandstand to pick a spot on the grass. So bring a picnic, a blanket, a chair, get ready for some fun and connection with Top Shelf 5280. Let's just soak up some summer vibes together. And I have one announcement also, is that new episodes of The Chosen are on tonight, so TikTok. So to register for any of these amazing opportunities or to learn more, sign up for the weekly e-newsletter. That's the best way to stay on top of all of the fun things that we're doing together. All right.
Thanks, Connie. And I love that you mentioned The Chosen. If you haven't discovered that series, it's an amazing series. All right, everybody, we're going to slow things down a little bit. And so let's just all take a deep breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And as you breathe in, say to yourself silently, centered in love, I choose peace. Centered in love, I choose peace. As you breathe in, centered in love, I choose peace as you breathe out. Just feeling the energy of these words, the vibration of these words, the meaning of these words. Centered in love, I choose peace. And so just feeling the vibration of the bowl. This bowl vibrates in our heart center, if you can feel that. It opens our heart to receive. And so I am knowing this evening that we are here to receive. That we have found our way here tonight, not by accident, but by divine purpose. I'm knowing that whatever we are ready to hear, whatever we are ready to receive, to support this journey that we are on, to support this earthly walk, I am knowing that our hearts are open to receive that this night, this evening. And so I know that tonight is blessed and a blessing for each person here. For as one or more are gathered, I know that the energy and the vibration that is here in this space is healing. It is healing not only for those who are here, but for those around this planet, for we are all connected, we are all one. And so I am knowing that that light and that love and that presence of spirit moves through our being, shines brightly from our heart, touches all those who have been impacted by what's happening in the Middle East, those who have been impacted by the ICE raids across the country, those who are feeling any stress or strain or fear. We just send our light and our love to each person. We wrap our love around them, whispering in their ear, you can make it. Love is here. The presence of God, the presence of Spirit is right here. to support, to surround, to hold, even for a moment. And so I just know in this moment, I claim this truth, I speak this truth for every being across this planet, knowing that love is that presence. It is that power. It is that felt presence within every being. Whether they are aware of it or not, it is guiding them on this thing called life. And so with that, we release this with great gratitude, knowing it is done. We let it go, and together we say, and so it is.
You're shattered like you've never been before. The life you knew in 1,000 pieces on the floor. And words fall short in times like these, when this world drives you to your knees. You think you're never gonna get back to the you that used to be. Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in. Let the shadows fall away. Step into the light of grace. Yesterday's a closing door. You don't live there anymore. Say goodbye to where you've been and tell your heart to beat again. Beginning, just let that word wash over you. It's all right now. Love's healing hands have pulled you through. So get back up, take step one. Leave the darkness, feel the sun. 'Cause their story's far from over, and your journey's just begun. Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in. Let the shadows fall away. Step into the light of grace. Yesterday's a closing door. You don't live there anymore. Say goodbye to where you've been and tell your heart to beat again. Let every heart break and every scar be a picture that reminds you Spirit's carried you this far. 'Cause love sees farther than ever could. In this moment, heaven's working everything for your good. Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in. Let the shadows fall away. Step into the light of grace. Yesterday's a closing door. You don't live there anymore. Say goodbye to where you've been and tell your heart to beat again. Tell your heart to beat again. Ooh. Oh. So tell your heart to beat again.
Thank you, Ken. Hello again, everybody. So before I begin my talk, I just want to acknowledge what took place yesterday. In the middle of the night, those of you that have been watching the news, you woke up to the fact that the U.S. bombed Iran. And so let's just all just take a breath, yeah? Yeah, as if our world didn't have enough going on. So I want to acknowledge what happened, because when things like this happen in our world, it creates fear, yeah? It creates fear in our bodies, it creates fear in our hearts. It's hard to not look at the news and find out what's happening next. There's threats of a World War III. There's threats of retaliation. And we don't know what's going to happen yet. Yeah, but they're already talking about what's going to happen. Yeah? And so it's in the field, the fear. It's palpable. Yeah? You can feel that. So whether you saw it in the news or not, you can feel it. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that. It's not the best note to start my talk out on, but today I'm talking about the path to wholeness. And so it's actually appropriate for what I'm talking about. And I'm also talking about forgiveness. This month I made the decision that I was going to talk about forgiveness all month. And it's a wonderful practice, a spiritual practice for all of us. Yeah, so I wanted to spend a whole month talking about it. So we're going to do a practice tonight, a prayer at the end of my service at the end of my talk to really hold all of those who are in fear right now, including all of us, perhaps, yeah. Next week, I'm going to talk more about forgiveness as it relates to the world. Tonight, we're going to talk about it as it relates to ourselves. So next week, we're going to talk about, I'm going to do a practice, we're going to do a little ritual, we're going to do some things to really bring us all together and create an energy of love and light to hold us all as we walk this journey together in the weeks and the months and the years to come and all that may come out of this. Yeah? All right. So, this path to wholeness. You know, when we come into these bodies of ours, when we come in as souls, we recognize on a soul level who we are. Yeah? Now, you don't remember that when you came in, but you knew who you were. You knew it. You knew because you just came from spirit. You just came from the divine. There was no question who you were, what you were. You know, if babies and little ones could tell us their experience, they would tell us this profound experience that they just had in connecting with spirit and connecting with that divine emanation of God. And they would tell us, too, their own perfection and the beauty of who they are and their wholeness. They would tell us that. You can almost see it in their faces, those of you that have had children. You see it in their faces. Now, when they're born, they might be a little upset because they're like, okay, how did I get here? But on some deeper level, they know. Yeah, they know. They know who they are. They were just in the energy of the Creator, and it is still so present with them. And it is still present with them as they grow and become a toddler and even into preschool. Some of them still know. Some of you may even have memories of knowing. How many of you remember? Do you remember? Okay. Yeah. And then we go through life, yeah, and we get into grade school and all of that, and then we start to forget. We forget. Now, I think children coming in now, some of you have young kids that are coming in now, even grandchildren, some of them know who they are, and they will forever know who they are. It's a whole different place, the kinds of children that are coming in now, yeah? How many of you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So that experience of that divine union and recognizing and knowing our wholeness, it begins to fade as we move into the world more and more. You know, and so once we forget, once we begin to forget that truth, it takes a while before we begin to remember that again. Usually once we begin a spiritual path, and then we start to remember again who we are. But it's so easy to forget our wholeness, isn't it? It's so easy to forget where we came from because this life that we are living, it keeps us in separation. it is designed to separate us. It's designed to separate us from spirit, from the divine. Have you noticed that? It's designed to cut us off from spirit. Now, truthfully, we are never cut off. But the knowing of it fades away. And so then when that happens, our experience of this human existence, our experience of this human life becomes more important than anything else. You know, we don't consciously, most of us, it's my assumption, most of us don't walk through the world consciously recognizing, emanating our divinity, knowing who we are. Now, if you do, come and talk to me afterwards. I want to know how you do that. Yeah? Because we're usually in this remember, forget, remember, forget, remember, oh, there I am, oh, and then now I've forgotten again. Yeah? So we're walking through this world and we'll remember, we'll have a moment of memory of who we are, and then suddenly we've forgotten because our insecurities suddenly are in, so we're so present to what those are in that moment, or we're so present to the stresses and the overwhelm, the needs and the demands of the people in our life, the things that are not working in our life. Suddenly that is right in our face, the things that are happening in the world, yeah? So our human self demands a lot of attention. The people in our life demand a lot of attention sometimes, yeah? Our pets demand a lot of our attention. My cat Charlie woke me up at 2 a.m. Why? Have no idea. He just decided he wanted to wake me up and meow in my ear. Yeah, and the world, yes, the world demands a lot of our attention, especially now. So we're pulled, aren't we? We're pulled in this direction, in that direction. We're sitting in meditation and we're feeling amazing and we're moved and we're touched and we're inspired by something we felt or saw or experienced. Our heart is open, we're feeling this moment of bliss, and we're floating. And then seconds later, wham, right? This is life. This is it. And now we're pulled into fear. We're pulled into judgment. We're pulled into frustration or into blame or anger. And in that moment, when we become more aligned to our humanness rather than our divinity, we don't always notice when that happens, yeah? Unless we were just in that peaceful place and suddenly we're thrown off our center. So our human self will continue to pull us. But you know, experiencing wholeness, it isn't about living solely from the divine. That's not what wholeness is about. It's about integrating these two aspects of ourselves, the divine and the human. It's about integrating these two parts of ourselves, those parts of ourselves that we have pushed aside, the parts of ourselves that we have disowned, the parts of ourselves that we're not so crazy about. Yeah? The parts of ourselves that we haven't forgiven ourselves for, haven't been willing to look at, or just would rather not look at. Yeah? So the path to wholeness is about bringing all of it into the light. All of it into the light. Carl Jung, he said this: one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Making the darkness conscious. So we make the darkness conscious by being brave enough to look. Yeah, to look at those parts of ourselves, to be with those aspects of ourselves. And the darkness, though, is sometimes it's scary to look at. You don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at that part of myself. I don't want to look at that. I would rather watch The Chosen or some other series on Prime, yeah? I would rather look at my puppies and kittens on my news feed than to look at the darkness. I was just in a training a couple of weeks ago with first responders, training to do some chaplain work with them. And there was a video that came up that was rather triggering for me. And it's so triggering for me that I went home and I had to sit in front of my altar and release what was coming up. All this childhood stuff came up. I thought I was, in fact, I said it here the weekend before. I did all this forgiveness work with my mom. That video brought it all back up. And I was just saying, when I was speaking about forgiveness, you're complete till you're incomplete. Yeah? I thought I'd been complete. I'd been complete for the last decade until I saw that video. So these things come up, yeah? And we can either face them or we can push them down. So I chose to face it. I chose to be with it. I chose to feel everything that was coming up for me. The sadness, the frustration, the anger, all over again with my mom. Until I could forgive one more time. Yeah? This is life, isn't it? This is life, and this is part of the journey of our evolution. If we're all about transformation, then that means that things are going to come up that are going to be really uncomfortable at times. Yeah? But if we have the courage to face it, if we have the courage to be with it, if we have the courage to breathe through it, we're going to get to the other side. We will get to the other side. Not only that, but we're also stronger, more resilient, more grounded, so that when bigger things happen, now we're even more grounded. Yeah? This is where the rubber meets the road, y'all. Yeah? So Brené Brown, I love what Brené Brown said. She said, the irony is that we attempt to disown our difficult stories to appear more whole or more acceptable. But our wholeness, even our wholeheartedness, actually depends on the integration of all of our experiences, including the falls. Including the falls. So wholeness is about integrating all of it, the light and the dark. And so we take a deep breath and we shine our light on those aspects of our lives that we've not been willing to look at. It's not to judge ourselves for what we've done or what we haven't done, but to begin to look at our perception. Do you know our perception is everything? Because the moment our perception changes, everything changes, doesn't it? Have you noticed that? Yeah, you know, years ago, when I was in my mid-30s, my father passed away. And at that stage of our relationship, we were in a good place. I loved my father very much. But when I was growing up and into my 20s, you know, I was pissed at him because he never said, I love you. He never said, I love you. And I was like, what the heck? Every conversation, he'd ask me about my cat. Different cat back then. He'd ask me about my car. He'd ask me about my job. Saying, why doesn't he ever ask me something more meaningful? Why doesn't he ever say, I love you? It drove me crazy. I was so angry about that. And then one day I realized, wait a minute. He tells me he loves me all the time. Every time he asks me about my cat, every time he asks me about my job, every time he asks me about school or whatever it is, he's saying, Lea, I love you. I love you. As soon as I got that, a miracle happened. As soon as I shifted my perception of him, our relationship changed. I'm not kidding you. Right after that, he started saying, I love you. I didn't say a word to him. I didn't say anything to him. But the only thing that shifted was my perception of him. Isn't that amazing? You know, in our teaching, we talk about how the outside world is a reflection of our internal world, yes? That's true for us individually, and it is true for the world, and I will talk more about that next week, yeah? What we are seeing in the world is a reflection of the wars inside of us, the discord within ourselves. Yeah. So every now and again, it's good to look at our world, to take an assessment of our world, our own personal world. What is going on out here? What is going on within me that is reflecting what's happening out here? And it takes courage, doesn't it? It takes courage to do that. It takes courage to look at our lives closely, to look at our perceptions, to look at our stories. You know how we love to tell stories. I'm not talking about children's stories. I'm talking about the stories that we tell ourselves about our lives, the stories we tell ourselves about the world, the stories we tell ourselves about that person in our life. You know, in Landmark Education, I did Landmark forever. Some of you have done Landmark or did EST when it used to be called EST. It was an amazing series that I did when I was in my 20s. And one of the things they would say when we would be in judgment of someone, they would say, who made you judge and jury over their life? We think we are, though, don't we? We think we are that judge and jury over someone's life. We say they are this way. They are this way. So we have these perceptions and we have these stories of who people are. And then it impacts our relationship to them. It impacts how we see them. It impacts how we relate to them. It impacts the exchange that happens between us and them. Have you noticed? Yeah. And you know, it's always our choice. You know, we can change our perception. We can change our stories. We first have to realize the stories we're telling ourselves. We first have to recognize that. So what if you created a new story? What if you created a new story about that person? A new story about your life? You get to choose. You know, when my mom died, the way she died was not really great. And I had this vision of wanting to be standing around her bed with my brother and us maybe chanting or singing to her, and this beautiful experience. It was nothing like that. She died alone. I was next to her. She had all these tubes and all the things. And she died of a combination of alcohol and painkillers. But my vision, I created a new story. Do you know? And when I created that new story of imagining that she died with us standing around her and her twin sister and me and my brother, what an incredible vision that was. I can still see it in my mind as though it happened. And that was such an incredible experience. Yeah? So we get to choose the stories. We get to choose our perceptions. We get to choose how we see our life, how we see the world. But we forget that, don't we? We forget that we have that ability, that at any moment we can choose. And this is how we make the darkness conscious. This is how we do that. Wow, look how often I allow that person to take me out of this peaceful place. How often I allow what's happening in the world to knock me off my center. So we become aware. We become aware. So every day we are given millions of opportunities. Okay, maybe not a million, that's a lot. That would be a lot. But we are given a lot of opportunities every day, aren't we? To make a different choice. To choose to see us as whole. To choose to see us as these radiant divine beings. To choose to see this person in our life as a radiant, whole, divine being. The contrast, yes, is necessary, though, isn't it? Because it wakes us up. The contrast wakes us up. The pain, the upset, the annoyance, the disruption, it wakes us up. So it's necessary. It's necessary for us. It's necessary for our transformation and for our healing. But we have to be willing to look at it. We have to be willing to make the darkness conscious, to look at it. So our wholeness is about bringing together the darkness and the light. You know, the reasons we get to experience great moments of joy and happiness is because every single one of us knows what it's like to experience despair and sorrow and grief. That's why. That's why we get to experience this incredible joy and happiness. Yeah? Because we know what the other feels like. The darkness is our greatest teacher, is it not? It's our greatest teacher, our greatest guru, truly. Because it gives birth. The darkness gives birth to new ideas. It gives birth to new discoveries. It gives birth to our greatest growth and transformation. But in order to see it that way, we do have to shine a light on it sometimes. We do have to sit with it sometimes and be with all that's coming up. And there is an end to it, though. If we allow ourselves to be with it like I did when I was triggered by that video in the training, I sat with it, and then it passed. I sat with the feelings. This is how we shine a light on it. This is how we experience wholeness. This is the path to wholeness. It's about looking at these aspects of ourselves and doing so with great, great, great love and compassion. Great love and compassion. Forgiving ourselves for not always being these perfect spiritual people. Stop expecting yourself to be that. Stop it. Stop it. You all just had the visual of the, help me out. What's the name of the? Bob Newhart. Thank you. Yeah, if you haven't seen the video called Stop It, Bob Newhart, look it up. It's hilarious. I love what Ianla, I'm not saying her name right probably. Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. I've got, well, Ianla's next. There she went, sorry. Okay, here's what she said. Thank you for your patience. She said, forgiveness is the path to healing and wholeness. Forgiveness is the path to healing and wholeness. Forgiveness is something we get to choose if we want to. It's a choice, yeah? It's a choice that we get to make every day for ourselves and for our lives. I love what Ernest Holmes said. I love that graphic, too, that Mary created. Here's what he said. Your soul belongs to the universe. Your mind is an outlet through which the creative intelligence of the universe seeks fulfillment. Seeks fulfillment. So this quote reminds us that our soul is part of the greater whole, yeah? It's part of the infinite intelligence of all that is. And our mind is how the infinite expresses itself. It's how it expresses itself. So there's this urge within all of us to express, to return back to our oneness with Source, to go back to when we were babies, when we knew who we were, when we knew our connection to Spirit. And when we get lost, when we lose our way, and we're stuck in limiting stories and beliefs and perceptions that aren't serving us, that creative intelligence is there trying to bring us back to wholeness. Have you noticed that? Those moments when you have complete clarity about something in your life, those moments when you're suddenly filled with peace or bliss, that moment when you're experiencing joy and it's just exuding from you, and even if it's just for a second, that's Spirit. That's the divine intelligence moving through you in that moment, trying to get you to remember your divinity, to remember who you are. to remember your wholeness. Our soul is always trying to get our attention. Our soul is directly connected to Source. They're in cahoots. Yeah, they are. And so they're always trying to get our attention one way or another. Sometimes experiences are beautiful and moving and heart-opening, and others are hard. But the soul is there guiding us, directing us with Source to return back to the truth of who we are, to the truth of who we are, bringing us back into balance, bringing us back into wholeness. All right, so next week, as I said, I'm going to start talking about, or I'm going to talk about this world. Yeah, we're going to do some, I haven't written it yet, but I know that my plan for all of us is to gather together to focus on the healing of this planet. We don't know what's going to happen between now and next Sunday, but I'm knowing that we are going to be able to move through it, whatever it may be. Yeah? And so next week will support us in that. And because I know, well, I'll just speak for me. My heart's been a little heavy today because of what's happened. But I suspect there's others here also feeling that. And so I want to close today with a beautiful prayer by a wonderful local minister by the name of Reverend Scott Aubrey. Some of you know him. And he has an email listserv that many of us are on, and he sends out some really sweet things. So this week he posted a prayer. So I want to read that prayer as we close out today. But before I do that, I want to mention our spiritual practice. I haven't talked about that in a while. So those who aren't familiar with that, every week I create a spiritual practice, or whoever's speaking creates a spiritual practice that aligns with the talk so that you can take the practice out into your life and practice it. Yeah? So because you hear these messages and then you go on with your life. So the practice is to keep you in practice during the week between now and next Sunday. So just to remind you, it's on our website and it'll be in the newsletter coming out on Wednesday. Okay? All right, so what I'd like us to do now is take a hand, if you're willing. The people next to you, those on the aisles, you might have to scoot over a little bit to take a hand. Those online, take the hand of a family member, and if you're alone, just place your hands over your heart. And just close your eyes if you're comfortable. And let's just take a deep breath. And just take in these words as I speak them. Feel these words in your heart. Feel the energy of these words emanating from your heart, from your being, going out and touching all. I turn inward to the presence that transcends borders, beliefs, and battlefields. Pure spirit that knows only peace, unity, and the sanctity of every soul. I affirm that even in the midst of chaos, this presence remains unwavering. It is alive in every mother holding her child, in every father standing watch, in every voice crying out for safety, for justice, for peace. Though war may thunder around them, the truth of their being is unshaken. Every person in this conflict is wrapped in love, guided by grace, sustained by spirit. I affirm a rising tide of compassion, stirring in hearts, activating wisdom in leaders, softening entrenched minds, and moving people to speak and act on behalf of peace. Thank you, God, for every brave heart, for every prayer lifted, for the light that cannot be bombed, buried, or silenced. And may we know our own wholeness and the wholeness of all beings. May we be courageous in our life, shining a light in the dark places, forgiving ourselves and others for not always getting it right, loving ourselves through it all, and remembering our divine connection to Spirit. As we connect to our soul, we remember who we are. We remember the light that we are. And we choose in this moment to shine it from our hearts, for ourselves first, and then to those around us, our family, our friends, our community, and our world. We are all unified in spirit. We are all one human family, connected in love, compassion, and grace. And so it is.
Gonna take in this life wide awake. Open my eyes and my heart to the world in a brilliant new ways. Watch all the colors combine and explode till they fit in the cracks and the unfinished parts of my soul. Here I go. I release all my secrets and all my pain. Hold to the truth, made of a bond stronger than my chains. Free my spirit, let go of my pride, and put words to the ways that I love you for your sake and mine. All this love I have found has lifted me up. Now I see from higher ground. No view as sweet or profound as the me I see in all this love I have found. I stand on goodness like a rock. Hold out my hand to my brothers and sisters and help them stand up. Thank you, struggle. You know you made me strong. With every beat I am sure I am clear. I know I belong. All this love I have found has lifted me up. Now I see from higher ground. No view so sweet or profound as the me I see in all the love I have found. Ooh, all this love I have found has lifted me up. Now I see from higher ground. No view as sweet or profound as the me I see in all this love I have found. Yes, the me I see in all this love I have found. Yes.
Wow. I have this experience when I've heard something super true that my legs go a little bit numb. My legs are a little bit numb right now. As we move into our offering, let's take a moment to feel grateful for the blessings in our lives and for the spiritual nourishment that we've received here today. We give from a place of gratitude, knowing that God is the source of all good. You'll see ways to give up on the screen. You can visit our website at cslnoco.org. You can mail your gift to our office, or you can text an amount to the number on the screen. Please place your gift over your heart and join me in saying our affirmation together. Money is God's love in expression. Since it is never withheld from me, I choose to give freely of all that comes to me from the one infinite source.
Thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God.
And so it is, yes. And so I'm just so grateful for all that is flowing into our community to support the work that we do both here and in the world. Thank you all. And we just know that this community is blessed forever and ever and ever. And so it is. Thank you, Matt.
If you're here for the first time, either in person or online, welcome to our spiritual family. We're so glad you decided to join us today. Know that you matter and that we are here to support you. After service, Lonnie Hickman will be right down here to pray with you on the side of the room. We also have a prayer request box at the back of the room if you care to request prayer in that way. And if you're online and you would like to have prayer, please visit our website at cslnoco.org and submit a prayer request. Thank you all for being here today. It's always a joy to come together and just spend time in the presence of our community and be inspired and feel connected. A heartfelt thanks to everyone who made today's service possible. It takes a dedicated team. So your time and energy are truly appreciated. Now I invite you all to join us for Sunday supper. Today we'll be heading out to a local restaurant after service, so meet at the welcome table and you'll find out where we're going. Everyone is welcome. Let's enjoy some good food and connection. That seems to be the theme today. Let's do the things that get us connected so we can support each other and love each other. Okay, so now please stand if you're willing and able for our benediction and closing song. So placing your hands over your heart, let's say our benediction together. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we awaken to the light of our own true nature. May we be healed. May we be a source of healing for all beings. Love is who I am. Love is who we are. Love is all there is.
For years I would talk about how I wanted to change the world, but I always left it up for someone else to do. Then I finally realized I needed to make a stand, and that by changing my thinking, I could